Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the first of three last info sessions for this December. We have three in October and three in November. And so it's a series. This is going to be an overview of the program. Tomorrow, we're going to go talk about specifically the application. And then on Wednesday, we will be talking about the personal history statement and statement of purpose. So the two papers that need to be submitted when you apply. Okay, so welcome everybody. Yeah, so this is the info session that gives you a breakdown of the program itself. So here's our agenda. So we'll give a little short intro and then we'll get into academics and program design. We'll talk about the capstone experience, the career development, admissions, and then we'll end with Q&A. And we have until 5 p.m. So with that being said, so I'm Janine Bernard. I'm the Associate Director for Student Services. Usually these sessions are managed by Mars Rivas, our Senior Admissions Officer Extraordinaire, but he is out of office this week. And then we have our trustee, Student Affairs and Academic Advisor, Maritzi Perez. She's on here. And finally, we have Nabiha Ali. She will be assisting. I didn't have time to add her to this, sorry. But she is a part of the team and we love her and she's the best. So thank you, Okay, so let's talk about the academic and program design. So we are known as the #3 overall best engineering school. It's first in civil engineering, environmental engineering, computer design, computer science, and then materials engineering and electrical engineering, #2. Then we have in the #3 spot, we're in and focuses on mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, nuclear. And then rounding out the top four is we have our bioengineering track. Um, so one of the questions that we get a lot of the times is what is the difference between a Master of Engineering and a Master of Science? Say? So it kind of depends on what you want to do after the master's. So the MS is a very traditional research-based master degree, and most of them are about 2 years. There are some that are 1 year, but they're academic. So that means that the training that you receive in an MS is much more you know, research based. You read and you write and you create a thesis and you submit that. And a lot of the times the MS degrees are on the way to a PhD. So if your ultimate goal, and you know that, is going to be a doctoral program, then maybe an MS is the way for you to go, because then you'll get those research skills, those you'll write a thesis, and then somehow that becomes kind of catapults you into your doctoral research and etc. So that's the MS. The MEng is a professional degree program. Think of it like an MBA, right? And I say it because it has the most gravitas, and everybody knows what an MBA is, right? It is a professional degree program with training for applicable skills for skills that are immediately applicable into a professional setting. So if you want to go into the engineering industry, you don't need a PhD, but you need the skills, right? To understand how projects are created, what to do, how to solve these problems. Um, and then, sometimes if you get to a point that maybe you want a doctoral degree, it is a master's degree, so you can kind of leverage that into a PhD. But again, the two kind of they're kind of meant for different audiences that may have same goals at one point, but it's if it's more an immediately applicable degree program and training. So, and then here's side by sides in terms of units. The MEng is 1 year, and it is a maximum 25 units. So that breaks down to 12 to 13 units each semester. Like I said, it's a professional, and the key requirement rather than a thesis is an experiential capstone project. So that is basically what you're kind of focused on from the beginning of the program. You rank your capstone projects, you get paired in a team, and then you present it as a team by May of that year, of that academic year. And then, so yeah, so these, and then whereas the MS is 25 to 50 units because you would need sometimes, a lot of the times, 2 years minimum. And at Cal, at Berkeley, 12 units per semester is the minimum required. So it could be what, 48, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Yes. So, or whatever that is. Yes, to 48 units. So, just double the amount of time, of course. But again, it just depends what you want to do. Um, academic paper, thesis paper versus experiential capstone, and then, like I said, the MS usually leads to PhD, and careers in research or academia. So, if you want to be a professor, you will need a PhD at some point. But if you don't want to be a professor, the MEng is applicable in many different areas. And so here are the technical concentrations. So bioengineering has a few, civil engineering has a couple. There will be a sustainability track that's being added to civil in the next cycle. We were too late for this cycle. EECS has their concentrations there. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. IOR, material science, mechanical engineering, and nuclear engineering. So these are all depending on what you want to study. These are some of the options. Um, and here's a sample schedule of the MEng program. So even depending on, it doesn't matter what department you're in, this is roughly what it's going to look like. So the MEng starts, so Berkeley is in the semester system. So our fall starts mid-August, about mid-August, with instruction starting usually a week after the semester starts. But first, the first week of August is going to be the MEng orientation. So it's a little bit ahead of schedule, but we need that in order to make sure that you are set to go through the program. And so there is a boot camp in fall and spring, and this leadership boot camp entails, public speaking, coaching, and things that you need to it because one of the beautiful things about the MEng is it's not just a technical degree. So you're not just getting a master's in civil engineering, right? This is a Master of Engineering leadership degree program. So we really pride ourselves on training the next generation of engineering leaders. So, and you will need to know how to you know, run a meeting, run a conference, maybe be on stage and address hundreds of people, and really have those leadership skills to not just do that, but then also lead teams, big and small. And so here's, like I said, a sample schedule. So each semester you take 12 units and then 13 units. So that consists of leadership boot camp classes, and then two technical electives, the capstone project, and then some more communications for engineering leaders. Hold on, let me move this. And then a project management and teaming unit. So those are all add up to should all add up to minimum 12. And then in the spring, you also have your boot camp, your engineering leader teamwork, and capstone projects with technical electives as well. Students can take classes outside of this sample schedule. You can take language classes, you can take PE classes. Just make sure that you prioritize the required classes and that you are able to make sure that you satisfy both the technical and the leadership components. Um, okay, and then in terms of program design, so we kind of saw it a little bit, but so 8 of those units are core leadership curriculum. And so that includes strategy, management, innovation. So these are concepts for engineers in business. Then 12 of those are going to be technical specialization, up to 12 units minimum. And so this is each department has its own kind of requirements. Then we do have the 36 concentrations and we have 7 certificate possibilities. And let's see, then the 5 units are integrative capstone projects. So this is team building, sorry, team driven experiential learning. Um, so that's basically kind of the 3 different buckets that the MEng design falls into. Let's see, leadership is a key driver of your professional success. So as I was mentioned earlier, these skills are transferable. Um, your ability to work in a team, right? We have to work in teams. Um, and your leadership, these are the 2 main drivers of professional success. Communication, written skills are super important too. You want to make sure that any team you lead or are a part of, that you all are on the same page. This is true in my job. This is true in engineering jobs. This is true in your family, in your partnerships. And then also problem solving skills are super important and drivers of professional success, right? You're going to get things put on your lap all the time that you're going to have to figure out. Strong work ethic as well, making sure you have the analytical and quantitative skills needed for whatever job you take, that your technical skills are also key drivers of success. And then again, you also have to be able to verbalize any communication skills. So these all are, I don't even know, I know some are ranked higher than others, but I feel like without these skills, you're not going to be at the top of your game. Um, and so let's talk about the capstone experience now. So so this is an opportunity for you all to be a part of a cohort that will reshape the world, right? So here's different kind of things that are happening. Our students are currently, oh my gosh, come on. This is annoying. Sorry, I just got, sorry. Let me escape and then go back to this, not this and this one. Okay, slideshow. Okay. Okay, so here's some of the projects that we've had in our program. So radio isotope production, data analytics for airport, predicting repeat borrowers, improving bus performance, rockets for deep space exploration, collaborative radio network. And you can see other things here too. Knee X, making walking effortless. And as you get older, your knees are going to give out. They have for me. So thank you all for the good work that you're doing in helping my poor old knees in the future. So yeah, so capstone projects are a hub for experiential, team-driven, and integrative learning. Um, a lot of the times you're brainstorming and you're bouncing ideas off of each other. And that's where a lot of the learning happens too. So every project has a real life technical challenge, and integrative learning is the key to innovation. So that's what we see. There's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So a lot of the reason why we have things that we have is because at one point there was a need for it, and there's people behind the scenes, trying to shape the world and make things better, even if for a small, small population. And actually, let me go. I'm not sure if we go into this, but kind of a quick description of the capstone experience is as soon as we get our new cohort of students, um, we start surveying them or start reaching out to them with next steps, right? This is what the caption's going to look like. These are some of the prior prior projects that we have engaged with, and then students will get to pick their top six projects. So a big list full of project ideas is supplied to students, and then they give the top six. They rank their top six, and we try to place them as best as possible with their top three. But we have about 440-ish students in the program at any given time, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And so with that, you're placed in a team with other students, with a facilitator and a project kind of to work on. And it all kind of culminates in May when there's a big showcase. Um, and then in career development, we are so happy that we provide career services. We have a fabulous team run by Julie McShane, Dione Rivera, and Alicia Mandak. And so they provide resume critiques, cover letter writing. We have our personal branding that you can use. We help you with job search strategy, prepare you for interviews and salary negotiations. And so we do provide that one-on-one career coaching. We integrate that into the classroom as well. And then there are, at any given time, there's workshops on campus or given by the Institute as well. So not all of the departments on campus have this. So definitely we encourage our students to take advantage of that. And at the same time, we graduate really happy alums that they then come back to our events, and then if they're ever hiring, we give them a big pin that says, "Hi, talk to me, I'm hiring." So it's all about networking and using the resources at our disposal, and that's what we try to provide at the Institute. And then so there's also summer webinar series that you can all attend if you are a student. There's career chat series. There's an affinity group program, which I'm not exactly sure how they're paired, but there's different affinity groups that folks can be a part of and get involved that way. Then we also have an industry mentor initiative. It's kind of a startup ecosystem, kind of a neat feel here at the Institute. And then we also have FI Connect, which is, I think it's the intranet by which a lot of our students kind of connect and our alums stay in contact as well. Let's see. This is what we offer in terms of connection. We offer, I think we have this MEng resume book so that you can take a look at what others have done. Like I said, we have alumni networking events, and those kind of sometimes overlap or are single employer events as well. There's a design challenge that is available to students, but not everybody needs to participate. There's like hackathons and stuff like that that are available. Um, Mentorship, this is a great way to connect folks together, and then we also connect with current students to help us recruit at UC Berkeley and the Bay Area as well. So maybe one day you'll be on the other side talking to somebody like you in your position right now. um, and so here's some of the career overviews. We have some of the roles and positions that students have gotten out of the Berkeley MEng: CEO and founders, COOs, CTOs, senior engineers, managerial positions as well. And you can see kind of where people fall. Some people fall in big tech, some folks in academia, others in startup, and then also, folks who there's some folks who want to consult, want to do their own thing. They fall into here too. So you can see Microsoft, Apple, Intel, Amazon, Tesla, Lyft, and then UCLA, Stanford, MIT, EY, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. And then the startups I'm actually a little less familiar with, but you can see there. And about 82% of MN students decide to stay and work in the US. 66% of graduates stay in California because they are able to snag a job here. 50 or more have founded their own institutions and companies, and 8 have been recognized by Forbes or Inc. 30 under 30. The median salary is about 115K. Average signing bonus is just shy of 12,000. And some Mr. Alvin Traljic, engineer at Shelton AI, says we like to recruit from the MEng program because students are highly skilled and capable, and they have hard and soft skills. We believe that this is hard to find and adds great value. So, and I kind of shy away from embracing the term soft skills because it makes it seem like, oh, they're just kind of a supplement. But a lot of the times, especially with what we've experienced in COVID, with the COVID pandemic, a lot of people, including myself, retreated into my house, my Zoom. And so n- what makes this job fun is being around people. So knowing how to command an audience, knowing how to, big or small, knowing how to talk to people, and really work together. That's the important part. Resilience and communication skills. So those are called soft skills, but those are transferable to any part of your life, right? You could make an appointment at the doctor's office, or you could, be at work giving a presentation. So I think those skills follow you and enrich whatever job you are doing. Um, and now let's get to admissions. So just wanted to say, once we finish the presentation, then we can open it up to the questions in the chat and the Q&A, and people can come off mute as well. So here is the class of 2025 full-time profile and full-time class profile. There is a part-time option, but it's it can be either 2 to 4 years, and it's kind of it's the same but different. So this is just about the full-time schedule. So our incoming class size was 458. Um, we're skewed more male than female. We have 35 countries and regions represented. Our top 2 countries outside of the US, top 2 sending countries are China and India. The average age of folks is about 23. 63% holds an international passport. Um, our top sending schools are, of course, Berkeley, Berkeley, UC San Diego, UCLA, UC Irvine, and then UIUC, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Urbana-Champaign. This year, it looks like the same are kind of our most popular right now, except for instead of UCLA, UC Davis is one of our top schools thus far. But of course, the cycle hasn't ended. Um, our biggest cohort is mechanical engineering. EECS gets the most applications, but they usually are about the same size as IEOR. And then our smaller programs within the MEng are civil, nuclear, material science, with bioengineering kind of being up there with EECS and IEOR, but not quite. Um, Let's see. So let's talk about application requirements. The deadline to apply is Wednesday, January 7th at 8:59 Pacific Standard Time or 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you start your online application, select one program and concentration. Make sure to submit your CVs or resume. We'll need your transcripts, we'll need your statement of purpose, your personal history statement. The GRE is required for IEOR only. Um, if you supply the GRE, it won't be counted, it won't be reviewed because it's not required. But if you have, I believe we have like a second option if you want to be considered by another program. If that other program is IEOR, then you need to make sure that you have a valid GRE score submitted. One important thing actually is make sure that you use the same email and the same exact name on your application that you do on your GRE scores or your TOEFL scores, because then they auto match in the system. If they do not auto match, it will take somebody manually going in and merging those materials. So make sure that you do what you can that and you can use your personal email, you can use your work or school email, but just make sure you devote, or some people create a new email just for applications. Just make sure it's consistent. You will need to submit 2 to 3 letters recommendation. Most of our programs require two, but I know I think EECS and maybe civil require three minimum and up to five. So we just were able to work with graduate admissions this year to make sure that it used to be that we had to create like a dummy third letter. You would write your email and then just submit it without any kind of information just to get it through the system. But I've been told that we no longer have to do that. And so it's two minimum. And then for folks who want to add a third, then they've made that flexibility. Um, yes. And then the TOEFL IELTS is required if your basic degree is from a country where English is not the recognized language. So in India, for example, they do say, oh, the language is English, but we require TOEFL scores or IELTS from any basic degree from India. Um, One way to waive this degree or this application requirement is if you had if you've done if you graduated from a US school with a BA, or if you have some other master's from a US university, then that is waived. But we can go through other questions once I finish the presentation. There is a fee waiver. So these are exclusive to UC Berkeley undergraduates and alums. Cal Those who are California residents and went to either a CSU or a UC, either currently or have graduated from them. Um, and then there is you can learn more at the bottom, but there is graduate division also issues fee waivers. Let me try to find that. Um, but there are requirements and criteria that you have to meet. But wait a minute, just let me get in here. Admissions, White Berkeley, application fee waiver. Okay, so let me drop this in the chat. Oh my gosh, where did everybody go? Oh, let's see. Where am I? Oh my gosh, sorry. I just got all resume, resume share. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I lost where my screen was. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let me drop this link in the chat. And so, yeah, so that is the other opportunity for fee waivers. Um, and you'll have to demonstrate financial need, and sometimes you need to participate in eligible programs. And to process and claim an application fee waiver, select credit card option, but don't pay. And so submit your application by the January 8th deadline, again, but don't pay. And that's it. Your application will be automatically credited for the payment or on or soon after January 7th. So there is kind of a grace period, but I would say just submit it even before, maybe January 5th. And in case anything comes up, you can always, you have time then to kind of sort that out. Um, and then let's see, sorry, let me move my thing. Okay, so funding your MEng experience. So the tuition for 2026 is about 56,379 for California residents and about 67,118 for non-California residents. This does include health insurance, but it does not include living expenses. And we do have full-time MEng funding opportunities. There's Dean's Full Scholarship, there's Dean's Grant, there's Fung Excellent Scholarship, which is based on merit, the Opportunity Grant, which is based on educational diversity. And so we have a big range, anywhere from as little as $1,000 to up to 30K, and very few, maybe two or three full fellowships. And so just want to give a reminder, as mentioned at the beginning, we have two more events coming up tomorrow at 12. We have the application workshop where we can go through each section of the application and answer any questions you have. Then on Wednesday, we have the graduate writing workshop from 2 to 3 p.m. And that is where we focus on the personal history statement and the statement of purpose. And we give, answer questions and give advice, etc. And you can go to events.berkeley.edu. Are these in there? Yeah, or not events.berkeley.edu. What am I talking about? This link that is on the, where am I? Oh my gosh. See, I lost it again. Okay, there we go. Okay. So view and register for events. And you can follow us on social media. You can email us with questions. And you can join our mailing